For the first year, we're running a competition for vulnerable breeds. 24 originally, I think now we're down to 20 vulnerable dog breeds are coming here, taking part in the competition final, which is the first of its kind. It was sponsored by pet food maker Eukanuba and supported by Our Dogs newspaper. And the Kennel Club launched this competition for dog show exhibitors who show vulnerable British and Irish breeds to raise awareness of these breeds and to recognise those who are dedicated to their survival and prosperity. You just heard in that demonstration there from Philippa Williams that she had the Irish Water Spaniel there, which is one of the vulnerable breeds that we will be seeing. The top scoring dogs from each breed have been invited to take part in this final, which of course is about to take part. And in fact, I think the ring announcer is just saying virtually what I've just told you. We have the former chairman of the Kennel Club, Ronnie Irving. He's going to be judging this first ever final. And we have some very interesting breeds here, some which I'm very surprised are in the vulnerable list. They're called vulnerable breeds if their registrations dip below a certain level. That level is not specific, but if they have less than 100 registrations in a year, they're considered to be in a fairly parlous state. It means that the gene pool is very small. The smaller the number of registrations, the smaller the gene pool available to breed these dogs, and eventually the breeds could become extinct. And groups of breeders have been wonderful in getting together to try to preserve some of these breeds. Not all of them, but I think it will come. And the whole point of this particular competition, I think, is to make these vulnerable breeds recognisable and aware to the general public. Here comes Ronnie, who's our judge today, former chairman of the Kennel Club. And he's got a lovely selection of dogs to look at. They're about to come into the arena, and Jessica Home and I will be commentating on it to the best of our ability. So first of all, we've got the Bloodhound.
And the second into the ring is the Otterhound.
We now welcome the Smooth Collie.
The Smooth Collie on this vulnerable list.
And the Lancashire Heeler.
The delightful little character that is the Lancashire Heeler.
We now have the Cardigan Welsh.
Another short-legged little animal, the Welsh Corgi, the Cardigan Corgi.
Followed by the Miniature Bull Terrier.
And here's the Miniature Bull Terrier, smaller cousin to the Bull Terrier you see in the Terrier group.
Followed by the very distinctive Dandy Dinmont Terrier.
We now welcome the Smooth Fox Terrier.
One of the ultimate ratters, the Smooth Fox Terrier.
Now we have the
Another
Glenavon
endangered
Mall
breed
Terrier.
from Ireland, the Glenavon Mall Terrier.
We now welcome the Kerry Blue.
The spectacular Kerry Blue Terrier.
And now we welcome the Lakeland
And the
Terrier.
Lakeland Terrier.
Next up, the Manchester Terrier.
The Manchester
No,
Terrier
the
is actually missing. We've got the delightful little Sealyham Terrier there.
And now we welcome the Norwich.
No, we
breed.
don't. In fact, it's the Sealyham coming into the ring. This is the Sealyham Terrier.
This is the Skye
the Skye
Terrier.
Terrier. Wake up, Pete.
Now welcome the English Toy Terrier.
And that really is an English Toy Terrier.
Thank you very much. Get off.
And the King Charles Spaniel.
And the King Charles Spaniel.
Oh, lovely tail wagging there, beautiful.
Setter.
Oh,
The gorgeous Gordon Setter, the largest of the Setter breeds.
The Irish Red and White Setter.
followed by another lovely animal, the Irish Red and White Setter.
The Clumber Spaniel.
The heaviest of the Spaniels, this, the Clumber.
And the Field Spaniel.
The Field Spaniel. 4 Spaniels actually in this list.
The Irish Water Spaniel.
The Irish Water Spaniel, instantly recognisable with that coat.
Sussex
And the
Spaniel.
last of the lot, this gorgeous coloured Sussex Spaniel.
And of course, unusually, because we're celebrating the vulnerable breeds with this competition, we see breeds from all different groups. Normally we only see them within their groups as best of breeds.
Well, the first ones that Ronnie will look at are from the hound group, the first one being the bloodhounds. This is owned by Rob Manley and Evelyn Burnside. Oh well, Ronnie's looking along the whole list, so we'll let him do that before we pick out any of the dogs. There's the miniature bull terrier, the lovely cute little dandy Dinmont.
Glenavimal doing what Glenavimals do best, his own thing. Sealyham Terrier there in the sky with that amazing set of ears. King Charles Spaniel, affectionately known as the Charlie. Setters and on to the Spaniels at the end of the line.
Concentrating on those breeds which achieve 300 or fewer registrations each year in the United Kingdom. And the statistics will pull together to identify...
So Ronnie Irving's had a chance to have a look, and now he starts with the first dog.
So here we have the bloodhound, handled by Evelyn Burnside in there. Extraordinary long name there. This is a dog that competes in both bloodhound working trials and shows. This dog is only 18 months old.
And a very ancient breed, this, can be tracked all the way back to Belgium in the 1300s, where they were developed in the monastery of Saint-Hubert. Prized for deer and boar hunting originally, but now great tracking
Just
dogs.
74 registrations, 74, 3 more in 7, but you can see this is very, very endangered with such a few. So now we come to the otter hound. This is owned and this is handled by Mrs. Amanda Smith, one of the 4 owners. He's called Maximus. He's a dog. He's 3 years old on the 31st of March.
And of course, otters themselves are considered to be native endangered species, and therefore otter hounds are certainly not used to hunt them anymore in this country. And that's probably the reason why they're on the vulnerable breed list. Their function is no longer required, although of course aficionados do use them for all sorts of other hunting and tracking these days. That long, dense, rough, weatherproof coat, very characteristic.
From the pastoral group, here comes the smooth collie, handled and owned by Trevor Hayward. This dog is 4.5 years old. It's identical almost in standard to the rough collie, but distinctive with the short coat.
And originally, of course, used for herding black-faced sheep on the hills, although these days far more commonly seen in the show ring and on the hearthrug. This one, a lovely blue merle. The smooth collie.
Little table dog now. We've got the Lancashire Heeler. This is owned by Peter Chilton. I beg your pardon, that's not correct. I don't have the information on the Heeler except that it's called Forsyth Black to Black and owned by Mrs. N and Miss E Beach, but I've no other information on this particular dog. But I find them very cute. These are dogs that used to herd the cattle in the north of England.
There's a fantastic story about their origins, that they think it was due to Welsh corgis meeting up with Manchester Terriers on the droving and herding routes, and of course they did their own thing and they invented the Lancashire Heeler. Full of character, these sprightly little dogs. Might be small, but is well capable of moving stock along by snapping at those heels. The little Lancashire Heeler.
Also on the table, the Welsh Corgi, the Cardigan. This is the one owned by Mr. Peter Clifton, which I got on there. Pet name is Mr. Blobby. And this dog is just coming up to 4 years old.
And of course the Cardigan Corgi, instantly recognisable because it's the one with a tail originally. Of course Pembroke Corgis no longer docked. Very distinctive look here though, with that foxy head, dark eyes and those gorgeous ears folded back on the move.
Quite a big head on them, isn't it?
Proportionally, yes, you do expect that with this breed. Essentially, you put the two Corgis together and you could never mistake them. These have very, very strong breed characteristics. Super little dogs.
Here's a miniature bull terrier on the table there. Angels Warriors Tiny Forevers. Little bitch is 3 years old almost. Lynn Glass is the owner and handler there in the ring.
It was a gentleman called James Hinks who was originally credited with championing the bull terrier and the miniature bull terrier back in 1850. The mini bull fell out of favour during the First World War, and although it's been revived, its numbers have dwindled, and that's what's put it on this vulnerable breeds list.
Breed with a very distinctive head shape, isn't it?
Said to remind you of an egg in profile.
Yeah, I can see that. I mentioned a cute little dandy Dinmont terrier earlier. This is a little bitch, owned by Elizabeth Jacker Slater.
The most gorgeous expression on these little dogs, but you should not mistake the fact that this is actually quite the little hunter. Its body's described as weaselly, and it's an efficient little predator, despite the fact that those gorgeous eyes will make you think, what a little cutie that is.
Hardy, mischievous and full of play, says the owner.
And capable of a quick dispatch if necessary.
Yes. Yet to find a toy that it can't dispatch immediately. There we go.
The little dandy Dinmont terrier.
The smooth fox terrier, of course, the wire fox terriers are very popular. This is a smooth fox. Rachel Turley is the owner of this dog, who's known as Ernie. He's just about 18, 20 months old now.
Love the description of this breed as bone and strength in small compass. Short-backed hunter, standing on the tiptoes of expectation at all times. This is a dog that you just do not mess with. Might be in small size, but has everything else in wide measure. Great characters. Always predominantly white with a little bit of colour. This one with black markings.
This breed now from Ireland. This is the Glen of Imal Terrier, and he's called Billy, and he's very young. He was born on the 11th of May, I beg your pardon, the 31st of May in 2011. So I tell fibs all over the place. I just don't read properly. That's my problem. Mr. Matthew Garnham handling here in the ring.
As recently as 1966, the Glen of Imal Terrier had to earn a working certificate in badger trials if it was to become a champion. Obviously, that is no more. And in similar fashion to some of these other breeds, where the quarry that they were designed to hunt is no longer huntable, then they become almost obsolete. Hails from County Wicklow in Ireland, where this is a tough, fearless little terrier, valued as a great worker.
Now, I'm really astonished to see this in the vulnerable list, the Kerry Blue. We had a Kerry Blue champion here, best in show at Crufts, not that long ago, and that normally is a time when the breed absolutely flourishes, but it hasn't worked for the Kerry Blue, and it's quite extraordinary. I find them quite magnificent. This one is a dog called Harry, and is owned by Carmel Clark O'Neill.
The colour of this one will tell you that it's a young dog, because Kerry Blues take a few years to mature the wonderful blue colour of their coat. As dark as this one is, it's still a youngster.
So this is the Lakeland Terrier. Gino here is owned and handled by Norman Riley in the ring. It's He's only been showing this breed for a year, but I think that's it's almost a template of a terrier, what you think of as a terrier, isn't it?
Certainly is. And as the name suggests, its roots lie in the hills of the Lake District, where this compact terrier was valued for a fearless temperament that helped him work on the farms and the fells, keeping them rat-free. Like so many, this coat is weatherproof. That's what it was designed for, to keep the dog nice and warm when it's working in, as we know, up in the Lake District. It's not called that for nothing. It rains and it's cold.
So on the table there, the Sealyham Terrier. The Sealyham is owned by Mr. and Mrs. D. Bettis. It's called Champion Polrose Parker plus Ornella, and is a show champion, as you can see there. This is
Hails from Pembrokeshire originally, where he was developed by Captain John Owen Tucker Edwards as a breed, described as having punishing square jaws, a powerful long cast terrier, nonetheless a great little worker.
And again, didn't we have one of these winning here at Crufts not so long ago?
We did.
Quite extraordinary. Well, one or two haven't turned up. The Norwich and the Manchester Terrier haven't turned up. But here we've got the Skye Terrier. The Skye Terrier is owned and handled by Mrs. J. Curtis there.
One of the oldest of the Scottish breeds, with his roots in the Western Isles, obviously, in Skye. Long, low, level-backed, the Skye Terrier, with that wonderful long coat, which is actually hard and helps protect the terrier against the weather. And, of course, hugely characteristic are those ears. Pricked in this case, but they can be dropped. They're covered in long hair right over.
This little dog's called Barney, and as we said, Jane Curtis is the handler and owner. Barney's great claim to fame met the Princess Royal in July 2014. How nice, Prince.
We move to the toy room where we see the English toy terrier, Black and Tan. This one is a Witchstone China Girl with Posh Pins. Goes by the pet name of Patsy.
Mr. Leonard, Mr. Ross and Miss Frost are the owners of this English toy terrier. Champion Witchstone China Girl from Posh Pins.
This is one of the oldest of Britain's native toy breeds, once known as the miniature Black and Tan Terrier. They date all the way back to the 16th century, and it's sad to see them perhaps slightly falling out of favour now. They're bang on alert, able to acquit themselves against a rat's nest. A toy with a terrier buried inside, I think, is probably the best way to describe this one. Those characteristic candle flame ears being shown really well there.
I think I need to get one. I've got rats under my chickens.
Glossy black and tan coat of the English toy terrier.
Another table dog here, the King Charles Spaniel, owned by Mrs. C. Robinson. This is a bitch called Skylar, born on the 17th of February 2012, just over 4 years old.
The Charlie was originally favoured by Charles II, which is where it gets its name from, obviously, and it's clearly a relative of the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. We're looking for something refined, and yet the Charlie's always cobby. Happy little dog, gentle and reserved. That distinctive domed head, wide set eyes, and those long ears that are beautifully feathered, framing its little face.
I'm always reminded of the Japanese chin when I look at the King Charles, and that sort of squash back face.
Look at that little tail.
How cute.
Never stops wagging.
Now here we have one of the most beautiful, I think, of the endangered breeds, this gorgeous Gordon setter. He's called James, this dog, owned by David Alcorn, David Crowder, Joe's Badley and Fiona Swan, and David Alcorn's actually handling there in the ring. Beautiful markings on the Gordon setter, very distinctive. I think that's a beautiful dog.
And the heaviest of our setters hails originally from the estates of the Duke of Gordon. It's a weight-carrying hunter, stylish dog with galloping lines.
And right behind it there You can see the Irish red and white setter, another very fine setter indeed, and this dog has won its best of breed here today, so it'll be in the ring again later in the gun dog group. So a great moment for them. A little bit of experience to be in the ring now early. This bitch is called Summer and is owned by Anita Tattersall, who's showing her today.
The beautiful Irish red and white setter was originally recorded in the kennels of Lord Rossmore of Monaghan way back in the 17th century and used to be called the Rossmore setter. That gorgeous red and white colour, of course, one of its defining features, and this one in very fine bloom. It's easy to see why it would have won best of breed today.
That was the Irish red and white setter. Now we move on to another gun dog breed, the Clumber Spaniel. This is show champion Tweedsmuir Dambuster Junior Warrant, who goes by the pet name of Miller. Miller was bred by...
Yes, this Clumber Spaniel, show champion Tweedsmuir Dambuster, owned and shown by it's Mr. Honnigan there in the ring. Was it Mrs. Honnigan? No, yes. Mrs.
This is the heaviest of our spaniel breeds, classic to look at. Hails from France originally 200 years ago and bred in the UK by the Duke of Newcastle originally on the Clumber Estates in Nottingham. That's the Clumber Spaniel.
She's a bitch, and her pet name at home is Celia. She was bred, she's owned and handled this evening by Gretel Osborne.
Now we have the Field Spaniel. Much lighter to look at than the Clumber. Balanced and noble we're looking for here. Slightly longer in the back, a long, lean muzzle. Developed in the late 19th century, of course, from the Sussex, the Springer and the Cocker Spaniel, and you can see that heritage in the dog's outlines. A gentle creature and a great worker. The Field Spaniel. Now we have the Irish Water Spaniel, another one that won its best of breed at Crufts today. This one is handled and owned by Martin Ford, the largest of the Spaniel family, a wild fowler with that characteristic coat that comes originally from the poodles that were used to develop this breed. Crazy temperament, delightful to live with, free and sound on the move. As a bigger dog, we should see reach and drive here, covering the ground really well. And that distinctive colour, very characteristic of the Irish Water Spaniel. Now the last of the group we have here is the Sussex Spaniel. This is Woody, owned by Gordon and Leslie Nesbitt, handled by Gordon in the ring. Strongly built, this dog, and quite a noisy hunter in the field. Developed originally from Cockers, Field Spaniels and Clumbers. This is a spaniel of great substance, and they move with a distinctive role. This one's stepping out really well today in the ring. Quite an abundant coat, a very characteristic russet colour. Flat, there should be no curl to the coat. Rich golden liver with sort of shading of gold. That's the Sussex Spaniel, and the last of these vulnerable breeds that have come through into this new competition. So now Ronnie Irving is going to have another look.
Just to remind you, if you would like to meet any of these breeds or any other breeds that the Kennel Club recognise, just take a trip.
Walking down the line, reminding himself of which of these vulnerable breeds he preferred. So who's he going to pull out? He's pulling out the Bloodhound, imported from Czechoslovakia, that one. The Smooth Collie, the Cardigan Corgi, moving down the line. The Skye Terrier,
Setter.
The gorgeous Gordon Setter,
Irish Water Spaniel.
the Irish Water and the Field. 2 spaniel breeds there on the end of the line, and congratulations to everybody else leaving the ring. A super set of dogs there.
Mr. Ronnie Irving will move each of these breeds again.
So he's going to move them again now. The first is the Bloodhound. Evelyn Burnside and Rob Manley's imported Bloodhound. Delightful Blue Merle smooth collie. This one, Foxearth Flintab, a champion. The little Cardigan Welsh Corgi, champion Josetta, Mr. Blobby, known as Blobby at home. That foxbrush of a tail, still working hard. Now we have the weighty terrier, the Glen of Imal, champion Romanville Billy Whiz, owned by the Sullivans. The Skye Terrier, champion Breakmill Barnum, owned by Mrs. Curtis. The Gordon Setter, show champion Lourdes Fulcrum Junior Warrant. The Gentle Field Spaniel, champion Elgert Rana, owned by Miss Osborne. And then finally, the best of breed winning Irish Water Spaniel. Caboglach Putty Wave, owned by Martin Ford. So that's our lineup. Dogs drawn, of course, from different groups: hounds, pastoral, terriers, gun dogs. Who is Ronnie Irving going to select to win this Vulnerable Breeds competition, the inaugural competition here at Crufts 2016? It goes to the Gordon Setter. Gordon Setter takes the competition. Show champion Lourdes Fulcrum with the little Corgi taking second place. Cardigan Corgi, and there we go to the Glen of Imal Terrier taking third. And the Field Spaniel takes fourth place in the competition. But we have our winner, the Gordon Setter. Beautiful glossy black and tan coat. Show champion Lourdes Fulcrum takes the Vulnerable Native British and Irish Breeds competition, the inaugural competition winner here at Crufts 2016. Handled by David Alcorn, owned by David Crowther, Jose Bradley and Fiona Swan.
David Alcorn with James, the Gordon Setter, champion Lourdes Fulcrum.
Hello David, congratulations, winning the first Vulnerable Breed competition. In front of an arena like this with a Vulnerable Breed such as Gordon Setter, must be quite a nice feeling.
Yes, it's fantastic, thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here in a very strong field actually, so thrilled to bits that we've won it overall. It's just fantastic.
And tell us about the Gordon Setter, just briefly.
They're one of the less common gun dog breeds. They're a setter, as the name would suggest, a very good working dog. Not the sort of breed for everybody because they need a lot of exercise, a lot of free running. But they are very good dogs to live with, very easy, very loyal. And yes, I find them very good fun to live with, actually.
And so hopefully this win today might help raise the profile of this breed.
Yes, it would be good if they did, because they are a lovely breed to live with, and if they are, decreasing in popularity, it would be a shame.
And in front of a gun dog crowd tonight, that must have been pretty cool.
Yes, it was brilliant, yeah.
Well, many congratulations, David. The Gordon Setter is the winner of the first Vulnerable Breeds competition.
Another opportunity to show your appreciation to the